Hey, what's up guys? This is my review for episode 324 Naruto Shippuden, and I'm going to try to keep this review very short, but I guess you could say the mass majority and most of the episode was pretty much about Naruto and the Four Tails talking mostly. And I've always wondered about like how this stuff happens, like time slows down and everything like that. There's actually been a couple times I think it might have had to do with a jutsu of some sort, and I understand it's a part of the story and everything, but I've always, like wondered if they actually did explain it, how would they explain it? But they were talking most of the episode, and Naruto is learning about how the Four Tails exactly died, especially since, they both previously, knew each other and met each other at some point. And we got a little bit of flashbacks, just a few things, that happened before that we never seen before, or that we've already seen before, when they met each other and everything. And it still reminded me, it was just felt a little bit funny, just seeing how, when they first met, they did not get along. And then, at the end, they got along pretty well. It was actually pretty good. And we learned how he died now. I think in the past we did get a little glimpse at some point that he got destroyed by Pain. So it wasn't by any of the other members of the Akatsuki. It was specifically Pain and everything. And we got to see the action and everything of how he fought them and everything. And he fought pretty well. I mean, pretty decent. I mean, a little bit better than some of the other Jinchurikis did before they got captured. But it's when you're in one of those kind of battles, especially when you're going against several people at once, you got to take into consideration like just how many possibilities and how many different jutsus each one will have that will just be completely different from this one. So things are just completely unpredictable, and every single millisecond makes a huge difference. So, but he fought off pretty decently well, and we got to see how he's got to Blue Bubble, and he sent a message to Hotaru, and one of the things I was actually quite happy to see is that, shortly before he died, after, talking to Naruto and saying goodbye to him and everything, we learned that towards the end of his life, he had a really huge change of heart, because he's been used to running away and just running all his life, like a criminal or something. And, he's willing to finally turn himself in, or at least, work with them, so then this whole thing could just be over because he's tired of running and he wants to live a better life, and just doesn't like, keep living like this. And, he's becoming, wants to become the master and start training Hotaru. And, everything was really great at the end. And I really do like seeing these kind of things, not just in animes, but also, TV shows in general, is, when, someone that might have done a few things throughout their life that were, really bad and, to, a lot of people's eyes and everything. And, see them have a change of heart towards the very end. That's really great to see, to see at least, they didn't live their entire life of just things that they've, just really end up regretting. And that's why we've seen this in the past, with a few other characters. Right before they died, they end up doing something useful at the end. Just like Granny Chio when she used the life transfer jutsu to bring back Gaara and everything. And I really do like seeing this kind of stuff. And, things seemed like a good ending for him and everything. And the battle, like I said, it was pretty cool, and we got to see quite a bit more, and I was actually surprised that, he didn't quite take down all of them, but then again, I remember that one guy, he brings them back and everything, and just repairs them like it was nothing. But right towards the end, he, said, he was, he's not sure why he opened up so much to Naruto. But, and just like seconds later, that's when, Kabuto just like completely cut things off, so then he couldn't talk anymore or anything like that. And we got to the part where, he was starting to talk with Toby, which he knows is Madara right now. And he starts talking to him, and they start talking about, how Naruto mentions that, I'm going to take down both of you Madaras, and, Killer Bee is like, hold on, I thought this was the Madara. And it was very interesting to see that, and then he said, then I'll go by my previous name, Toby, and one of the things that kind of caught my attention just a little bit is just the fact that he used the word previous name, not original name, not my birth name, not some other name, just previous name, which would make you think that he's probably like someone that's been like a double agent, just going back and forth, changing identities and everything. And, I'm surprised he didn't catch on to that, but I don't really think he cares that much about the name. But if he knew it, I'm sure he would just, like, his mind would be blown a little bit. And, when Toby heard that, we start getting a flashback of what we saw before previously with Kabuto, when he's tried to negotiate, to work with Toby. And remember there was that one coffin or whatever that came up, and we didn't quite see what it was, but we saw the look on Toby's face, and we're like, oh, it must be Madara. And for all of those of you that did think that, you were 100% right. And I still a little bit wondering of, how he got Madara and everything, especially since Orochimaru didn't. It's either that or Orochimaru did, but somehow, gave it to Kabuto or something. But it was really cool to see that, and during the episode, there was one thing that captured my interest a little bit because it's something I'm looking forward to in the future, and that is when Killer Bee recognized one of the other Jinchuriki, and her name was Yugito. Now, this is one of those things that kind of bugs me just sometimes, but Yugito? That is only a one-letter difference between that and Yu-Gi-Oh! They could have came up with a better name. I know there's so many names, so many characters and stuff like that, but it could have been at least better in a way that it wasn't so obvious that it's almost 100% just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Just one letter difference and without the dashes. But looks like he's actually previously known her. I'm not sure if it was Killer Bee himself that recognized her, or specifically just the tailed beast inside of him. So if Killer Bee did know her before, then it's going to be very interesting, because I think there might be an episode, or at least I'm hoping so in the future, of Killer Bee having an episode, kind of like how Naruto, did with the previous Four Tails Jinchuriki, having a conversation, learning what happened and what's going on and everything. And it's really great to see that kind of stuff, and hopefully we do actually get to see it. And Toby starts talking again, and he starts talking about how he's lived a life of nothing but despair, so a name just does not matter at all, because all he cares is about his project and just doing what he's been wanting to do all this time, ultimately, and everything. And he talks about how he's just lived a life of nothing but despair, and he said, Naruto, you should understand, you as a Jinchuriki have lived a life of nothing but despair with that tailed beast inside of you. And then Naruto, this was a little bit surprising, but it was something to be kind of expected, and I was quite happy to see, is that he pretty much said, who are you to tell me whether I am unhappy or not with the tailed beast inside of me? And that in the Nine Tails, actually, he opened his eyes and everything, and he noticed what Naruto said. And it was that kind of good to see that, but especially after seeing, a while back when he tried to, I guess you could say talk with the Nine Tails and get along and be like, hey, after I bring my friend back, I'm going to come back for you, remember that, and it was really great to see this, and it was one of those things that I guess I could say it wasn't exactly something he would have probably said it later, but Toby pretty much gave him a reason to just, stay his grounds and everything, and just say what he, felt like he needed to say and everything. And it got very interesting, and, and he ended up saying, I'm going to take down both of you Maldaras. And it was really great to see, how Toby's reaction was, it's going to be really hard to do that, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to capture you two. And we got to see pretty much all the previous Jinchurikis with tails coming out. Now, there could be a few reasons, but at the same time, remembering as Minato had the Nine Tails, well, he wasn't a Jinchuriki, but he has a Nine Tails chakra inside of him and everything. But seeing as, the chakra got taken out of them, maybe there was some way they, brought it back. I know they can bring back chakra from, some of the people that have had, Jinchuriki's chakra, however they got it. But seeing them become a Jinchuriki again in some way or form, that is pretty surprising. But it won't surprise me, especially since they used some of the Ten Tails or that statue's, chakra to, multiply the white Zetsus by, like, thousands, And it would not surprise me if they just gave a little bit or a certain amount to the previous Jinchurikis to make them stronger. But he must have done experimenting, because remember, when they're under the reanimation jutsu, they come back to life in the same way they were before they died. Unless, of course, Kabuto does some experimenting with them and that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to see how things turn out, because, I really want to see, how they got it and everything. And it was very surprising to see that. And another thing is, seeing as they've got that power and everything, I want to see if they can use, the Uchiha Eye, or if they can use the Rinnegan, if they could use the Sharingan or Rinnegan or anything like that, or if it's just there for probably visual enhancements and as well as some other small things. So it's going to be quite exciting. I'm going to give this episode overall a a 4.5 out of 5. I would give it a little bit higher, but I felt like this was a pretty good episode. A little bit too slow pacing, but at the same time, I'd rather have them spend more time on the story and everything than too little. And plus, we've had, I feel like the last half dozen episodes have been really good quality, or at least most of the last half dozen episodes have been really good as far as how they've been doing the animation, the pacing, and just things are being so much more clear and directive and making more sense, and just instead of just bringing in random people we've never heard of before and just fillers all over the place. So I'm really happy to see how things are going. Hopefully we don't have any fillers quite so soon, but it's really great to see these kind of episodes again. It feels like it's been a very long time throughout the season, or in the season, since we've actually seen some good episodes like this. And I gotta say, things are getting really interesting, and I'm very excited to see how things turn out. Especially, just the whole thing with Killer Bee, seeing if he knew that other Jinchuriki or not, and if not, or if so, then are they gonna do an episode similar to this? So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll make sure to do a review for the next episode once it comes out. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.